And tonight, according to one report, President Trump is preparing major immigration enforcement operations next week in Chicago, while floating plans to use a naval base in the area to aid federal operations. This comes as President Trump continues to deliver on his promises. Since he took office, ICE has deported nearly 200,000 people, making them on pace for the highest level in a decade. And border czar Tom Homan this morning said the Trump administration has now located over 23,000 unaccompanied children that were just lost under the Biden administration. Watch.
Out of the 300,000 children, I looked at the numbers just yesterday. We've located over 23,000 of them. So 23,000 locations of the 300,000. Well, President Trump's committed. We're not going to stop till we find every one of them, or at least, run every lead down on those 300,000 children. That's a big plus for the administration, because the last administration wasn't even looking for them. So, but as far as with Chicago's coming along with every other sanctuary city. President Trump is committed that we're going to focus and prioritize sanctuary cities, because that is where the problem is. We know for a fact they're releasing public safety threats to the streets every day rather than handing them over to ICE so we can deport them.
Amazing. More examples of heinous crimes committed by illegals are coming to light. The DHS announced the arrest of a pedophile illegal living in a daycare, while Secretary Noem announced the deportation of a Mexican national child sex offender. The Democrats are against this? Meanwhile, the Trump administration is blocking citizenship for illegal immigrant voters. Here with reaction to all of it, former acting DHS Secretary Chad Wolf. Chad, every time I speak with you privately or publicly in a forum like this, we just are amazed at the statistics. They keep piling up. I want to focus on the 23,000 missing children of the 300,000 or so missing children under the Biden administration that Tom Homan, our border czar, has said they have found. Tell America how that works. How do you find these missing children? How did they go missing by Biden, who himself was missing in action?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Kellyanne. Look, I think this is one of the most underreported stories over the last several years. Not only what the Biden administration did, which is losing track of over 300,000 children, but all the efforts that the Trump administration is trying to do to recover these children, to understand where they are, to make sure they're not in the hands of traffickers, human smugglers, and the like. And so it's a very difficult process that Tom Homan and the team is laying out at DHS. It's a lot of investigatory work to try to understand where are those sponsors that picked up those children and where are those children actually been. But this is a larger point. This is what happens when you open the border for 4 years and you allow over 500,000 children to come across that border and then release them to sponsors you know very little about. You don't follow up with them, and you don't understand where they're going, and you don't have the interest of these children, some of our most vulnerable, obviously, children in mind. This is what happens. And so the best thing that you can do for these types of individuals and for these children that are being trafficked is you shut the border down. You make it very difficult for the cartels to do what they inherently want to do, which is to make money off of these children. And that's exactly what President Trump has done. And so he should be given a lot of credit. His team should be given a lot of credit. But the hard work, as you indicated, is in front of them trying to find these children.
And as you know, beginning in the first Trump term when we worked together, Chad Wolf, the president has been very focused on breaking the back of this fentanyl and illegal illicit drug crisis. Now he's bringing that right into Mexico, threatening the cartels. You've got Mexico turning over some of the cartel members to us. It looks like there's great progress. What are the prospects for real progress there so that we see the amount of drugs coming over our border into our communities and into our kids' veins reduced?
Well, I think what you can be sure about is that President Trump is taking this threat seriously, right? He's designated the cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and that includes not only ones in Mexico, but in other places in Central and South America. He's sending Navy warships off to the coast of Venezuela, not only because of Maduro, but also from TDA, which is also, another FTO designation there. And so he's trying to attack this at multiple sources along the route, making sure that it's not only human trafficking that's stopping, but it's also the illegal narcotics trade that these cartel members are very adept at. And so, look, he's going to the Trump administration's got a difficult task ahead of it. What can they do in concert with the Mexican government, and what can they do on their own, understanding that there are limitations on what the Mexican government can and can't do. But there's other things that they can do as well, and I think he's pushing as hard as he can. They need to continue that. We're only 7 or I would say maybe 8 months now into this administration, and more has been done on this issue than the previous 4 by a long shot. So I think there's certainly more to come here.
And Chad, in the remaining moments we have, obviously when people were coming up through the border under Biden, they were wearing shirts, "Thank you, Biden." They knew it was open for business. Just come along, 10 million plus, maybe more. Is the opposite true now? That folks see these 200,000 being deported by ICE, and it's a true deterrent effect on folks to not come here?
Well, absolutely. Look, everything that you do, most everything that you do when you talk about law enforcement is about deterrence. You're making sure that people are adhering to the law, and if not, there's a consequence to that. And we saw for 4 years under the Biden administration, if you broke the law, there's no consequence to it. So more and more people obviously broke the law. And under the Trump administration, they have flipped that on its head. They're saying there's going to be accountability here, that if individuals want to choose and knowingly break the law, come into the U.S. illegally, well, guess what? They're going to be apprehended, they're going to be detained, and they're eventually going to be deported. And they may go back to their home country, they may go back to other countries. And it is about deterrence, making sure that those that need protections that the United States government provides that are truly in need, get them quickly. But the vast majority will never qualify for those protections, asylum protections and others. And let's remove them from the country quickly so that more and more do not come and we don't see the crisis that we did under 4 years of Biden.
It's just been an incredible first 7-8 months, as you say. Chad Wolf, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.